nachos? Of course you do. Everybody loves nachos. Everybody loves nachos in restaurants, whether you buy them for an appetizer or make a whole meal out of it, pile a bunch of stuff on there, make them at home in the microwave, buy them at the gas station. Everybody loves nachos. And that's why I want to show you a great, fast, easy nacho sauce that you can make at home. Now this one, I use pine nuts for the base, a lovely natural whole food full of good healthy stuff, and we make it into this tasty, tasty nacho sauce, which has got just a little jalapeno, a little tomato. Of course, you can always add more spice if you'd like. And I'm gonna put that on these crispy chips. And of course, I made a raspberry-avocado salsa because I love doing fruity salsas. Raspberries have their own sort of sweet and sour, and they're just juicy and tasty. And when they're in season, it's the thing to do. You can also, I'm gonna add a jalapeno. You want it hotter? Add a hotter chili. And of course, our favorite, the avocado. Little lime juice, we've got ourselves a salsa. So please come along with me and we're gonna make these in just minutes because I am your plant-based chef, and today we are, as always, all about the flavor. Let's make nachos. The easiest thing about this is I'm gonna use these pine nuts. Pine nuts are so much creamier and richer, and you don't have to soak them like some of the other nuts we often use, like say almonds or cashews. So I can just take them right out of the package, dump them right into the processor. Got a couple cloves of garlic, and I'm going to puree this. Where would I be without my food processor? So I'm going to dump in my white miso and nutritional yeast, both of which are just going to load it up with lovely umami flavors, and a teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to puree it a little bit more and make sure, bang that thing down. Once this is wonderfully smooth, I'm going to just let it sit like this. Now I'm going to start my nacho sauce. So over here I've got my burner on, and I'm going to put in this rice milk, and very quickly, before it gets too hot, I'm going to whisk in cornstarch off the heat. And whisk in a little bit of rice vinegar or champagne vinegar and canola oil. Actually, I'm using avocado oil. You can use canola or avocado. So then it goes over the heat. And we're going to cook it. I'll turn it down a little so it doesn't into a boil right away. And this happens so quickly that I'm just going to kind of keep an eye on it. And then while we wait for that to come to a simmer, I'll get set up for making my raspberry salsa. So I've got my raspberries, and I'm going to cut up an avocado to go in there. You always hope the avocado is going to be a good one. I'm going to cut up an avocado. First, I'm going to whisk this because it's already coming to a boil. It's going to very rapidly become quite thick. thick and foamy. We just want to keep it moving. We're building a matrix of starch granules in this thick mixture, but it's going to give it the textured cheese. So you can sort of see how incredibly thick it is. So here is this very thick mixture. I'm just going to dump it right in the food processor because that will blend it very thoroughly and do a great job. Again, I love the food processor, as we know. So I'll just blend it again. Voila, we have a beautiful nacho sauce, which is nice and warm, but I can return it to the pan so I can heat it up again if I need to. But this is just such a simple and wonderful thing. And the great thing about this also is that you can serve this as a dip, or you can sprinkle it over your nachos, as I'm going to do. And you can vary this as a cheese sauce, a vegan cheese sauce, in any number of ways. So fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make my salsa. So I've got my beautiful raspberries, and I've got an avocado. I'm going to cut this guy in half. Looking good. Then I'm going to dice it. So we're going to have this lovely combo of raspberry and avocado that's just going to be a little bit nicer and more interesting than your typical tomato salsa. Although if you just want to get some salsa out of a jar to enjoy with your nachos, that's absolutely your choice. So I'll just scoop it out. See, it's diced in the shell, which is a neat trick because it gives you a nice even dice for picking up with your chips. And then on this, I'm going to sprinkle a pinch of salt, a teaspoon of cumin, and a tablespoon of fresh lime juice. And then I'm going to chop up, this is a poblano pepper, and it's kind of hotter than a green pepper and milder than a jalapeno. And so when I see them in the market, I like to try them out in something like this. It's a nice way to have some pepper flavor. Now, if you wanted to, you could add another jalapeno, or you could add more heat with a serrano, or even more heat with a Scotch bonnet or a habanero. Those are hotter. And of course, you heat freaks probably know all about ghost peppers and all the other super hot chilies. But I live in Minnesota. People will maybe be able to stand this poblano, depending on your tolerance. The great thing about chilies is the more of them that you eat, the more you can tolerate. So I'm going to just put in this chopped up poblano. And I have some mint leaves, which I'm going to chop up as well. So I think that's a lovely herb to put with the fruit salsa. This is so much more exciting than the nachos you may be used to. And I'm going to stir this up with just a couple scallions. And I like to put in just a pinch of organic sugar. Just break these guys up. The avocado wants to stick together. And we have salsa. Salsa. And I'll just put in a pinch of organic sugar. Look at that. Look at all that color, all that deliciousness. And I've got a lovely bowl to put it in because when you're serving to guests, you can't just eat right out of the mixing bowl like you would, or I would, when no one's coming over. And I've got that ready to go. Then I'm going to mince up a jalapeno to go into the nacho sauce itself, because I do like to put a little bit of chili in there, even though it's not necessarily absolutely necessary, because there's some chili in the salsa. Now, if you wanted to just make your super nachos and pile up stuff on top of them, I'm not going to really put a ton of stuff on top of the nachos because I've got this great salsa. But you can also, I'm just going to chop it a little bit, do a little mincing. You can pile up some olives and scallions and herbs and things like that on top of your nachos, but you certainly don't have to. Go ahead and reheat my nacho sauce a little bit and stir in some chopped tomato as well. I've got one sort of large chopped tomato and I squeezed it out. I wrung it out so it wouldn't be so juicy that it thinned the nacho sauce. And this is nacho sauce ready to drizzle. Now I've got some warm chips in the oven. So we can just set those down on a nice towel. And I'll turn this off. Oh, see, it's so thick, it's sort of splattering. And I am going to put some nacho sauce on my nachos. Just look at that. Drizzling that beautiful sauce all over these chips. And boy, oh boy, that is way more exciting than the ones at the ballpark with the weird fluorescent orange cheese. Am I right? So here we are with our beautiful Raspberry-Avocado salsa, and I've got a nacho chip, and I'm just gonna dive right in here and have a little bite. It's everything you love about nachos without any cows being involved. So please check out the recipe. Come visit me at robinasbell.com for more recipes, more ideas, more classes. And I will see you next time when we will eat something else just as delicious.